Ho, ho, ho. Welcome to my home at the North Pole. This year, we're doing virtual visits, so I wanted to read a story to you. A story starring Timothy. It's called Christmas Eve Cleanup. It was Christmas Eve day, and the elves were excitedly talking over lunch in Mrs. Claus' kitchen. They had a busy afternoon and night ahead of them. Throughout the year, Santa's elves made toys. But as the big night approached, there were still 3 important jobs left. Head elf Bud turned to his friend Timothy, who was visiting for the day. Timothy was proudly wearing a green and red striped honorary elf hat, presented that morning by none other than Santa himself. "We have to finish wrapping and packing some presents," Bud said. "Then we have to bathe and groom the reindeer, wash the sleigh. Santa depends on us to get everything ready tonight. Timothy, would you like to help?" After an enthusiastic yes, Timothy joined the elves in Santa's workshop, where they wrapped the last-minute presents. There were dolls and balls, trains and planes, all sorts of toys for children everywhere. Timothy had never seen so many toys. The happy group loaded the gifts into candy apple red wheelbarrows. Said Timothy. "I wonder if any of these presents, are going to Brad, my best friend." This had been an exciting day, and it just got better all the time. There was so much to see and do here in Santa's secret village. The elves had taken Timothy all over the village, even to the reindeer barn. There would be so much to tell Brad and everyone else back in Plano, Texas. Their job was to push the presents to the barn, then pack them in Santa's huge red sack. Bud turned to Timothy and with a surprised look. "You catch on fast, and you're just 7. I'm 300 and through, and in all the Christmases I've done this, I've never seen such a good helper. I'm so glad you came to visit us today." Bud was so enthusiastic, and in fact, all the elves were. It was fun to be with them, and Timothy felt lucky to be in Santa's secret village, and on Christmas Eve. Helping Santa's elves with the toys made it seem that Timothy was giving something to all the children. Timothy felt good. Christmas is like that. With the presents packed, the little group's next task was to take care of the reindeer. The elves and Timothy led the reindeer into the barn's reindeer showers. The animals were big but friendly, and they nuzzled their cleanup crew, drawing giggles from 2 ticklish elves. Timothy gently scrubbed a very contented reindeer with a long-handled brush. "Just wait till I tell my friends back in Plano about this," exclaimed Timothy. "Don't forget to wash behind the antlers," said Bud. The group quickly dried off the reindeer and began brushing them. "This is so much fun," said Timothy, "and the reindeer don't seem to mind at all. In fact, they seem to like it just about as much as I like football." "Oh, yes," said Bonnie, "they all enjoy it. This is their big night, too, and they all want to look their best." All the training, all the exercise, and all the reindeer games throughout the year had prepared the reindeer for this night. Clean and happy, they curled up for a restful nap before their busy journey ahead. "Next time I take a nap, I'll pretend I'm a reindeer," said Timothy. "So, Bud, what do we do now?" "Wash the sleigh," replied Bud. "Santa wants it to really shine for the ride tonight. Just wait until you see it when the stars and moon shine on it. It's really something." Santa's helpers gathered sponges, soap, and buckets and headed towards the sleigh. Timothy never thought cleaning could be such fun, but washing the reindeer sure was. Maybe the sleigh would be too. There it was, Santa's sleigh. There was something magical about it. Even now, a little tarnished and unpolished, Timothy stood staring, imagining it flying across the night sky. "Come on, Timothy," cried Bud. "Grab a sponge." Santa's little helpers eagerly went to work, and it didn't take them long to wash and polish the sleigh. They cleaned and waxed the runners, making sure there was no rough spots on the blades. Timothy swept out the inside, finding half a cookie and 2 carrots. The sleigh soon began to sparkle. "It looks great," said Timothy. "Just think of all the toys it'll carry tonight. I wonder what Santa will bring me." "Ho, ho, ho," bellowed a voice behind them. Timothy turned around. It was Santa Claus. "What a great job you did on my sleigh," said Santa. "Not only will it sparkle in the starlight, but it'll really fly fast since you polished the runners too." Santa was proud of them. The little group had worked hard today, and they'd done it all with happy enthusiasm. Santa smiled and said, "You have made a terrific team. You did a great job on the presents and on the reindeer, and now you made this old sleigh look new again." The elves looked pleased, and Timothy was bursting with pride. But they weren't finished yet. "Okay, gang," said Bud, "let's go load the sleigh and hitch up the reindeer." The group pulled the sleigh to the workshop. With its freshly waxed runners, the sleigh slid easily and quickly over the ground. Loading the bulging toy sack wouldn't be quite so easy. "Let's count to 3 and all lift together," suggested Bud. "How about heave, ho, ho, ho," laughed Timmy. The elves joined in the laughter, shouted, "Heave, ho, ho, ho," and swung the sack into the sleigh. The sack flew into the sleigh, and the elves and Timothy fell back, laughing and exhausted, into the snow. Their last job for the night was to hitch the reindeer. When the elves and Timothy got to the reindeer barn, some of the animals were beginning to blink open their eyes. Soon all of them were standing, some of them shaking off the sleep and others stretching their legs. Bud showed Timothy how to harness a reindeer. "Just wait until I tell my friends in Plano about this," said Timothy. "This is so cool." The group quickly hitched the reindeer to the sleigh. Now fully awake and unable to stand still for a second, the reindeer began to prance in excitement, jiggling their harnesses. They were ready. Santa walked up, beaming with approval. "Thanks, my little elves, for another great job." He leaned over and patted Timothy on the head. "And thank you, Timothy. You have been a terrific honorary elf." Turning to the others, he continued, "Because of you, this is going to be a wonderful Christmas for many, many children." Santa Claus climbed into the sleigh and picked up the reins. "Good night, little elves," Santa said, "and goodbye, Timothy. We hope to see you again next year. Before you go back to Plano, go see Mrs. Claus. She has some cookies for you." Then the reindeer took off with Santa shouting, "Merry Christmas!" What an extraordinary adventure for Timothy. The end. And Merry Christmas to you too.